the Starting Your Own Business Career Exploration. I am going to turn it over to our host, Ronnie Rosen.
Good morning, everyone. As Michelle said, I'm Ronnie Rosen. I hope you can all see me because I can't see you. I had to join this morning from my phone. There was a little internet problem in my house where I'm still working, so please forgive me. Leslie, how many people are here today?
Well, from what I can see, 10 so far, but they're still coming in.
Okay, so you're going to tell me, Leslie, as you have more people coming in. I don't want to start the presentation until everyone who signed up is here. So I usually give people an extra few minutes to get themselves in here.
I think Michelle will have
people.
Ronnie.
What's that? 44.
Michelle and Haley will have better visibility of everyone who's there than I will.
Okay, I don't know if Michelle is staying in the call.
I'm here.
She is here. Okay. So, welcome everyone. I will repeat myself in a few minutes, but I am I'm not there. I'm actually working from home still, but I work at the Stony Brook Small Business Development Center. I hope some of you know where we are, what we do. We're actually working virtually these days. Some of us are in the office some days, but I am not in the office at all. Before I get started, I'll just tell you, I had a surgery way back in August, and I'm still not allowed to drive. So I'm still working exclusively from home. Anyway, I'm having a little internet issue. So we had to do a little finagling this morning, and Leslie Rurup, who's there, you can see her, I guess she'll wave to all of you, is our intake coordinator. She's probably the person that you will speak with if you call to make an appointment. So how many people do we have now, Les? I'm just kind of stalling for a little time here. Do we know how many people are here now?
I say 11, but you know, it's between you and Michelle and Haley.
We have 12 now.
We have 12 now. Okay. Well, it's only 1 minute past, and I usually do give a full 5 minutes for people to get in and get settled and all that. So we'll just wait a few more minutes. Let's see. Oh, yes, there are people still joining now. View. Let's see if I view. Oh, no, that doesn't work. Okay. Yes. So we are recording, although I don't know that we need to be recording right this minute, but okay. I don't know what else to tell you, except that those of you who are here, you should know our website. If you Google Stony Brook SBDC, you don't have to remember anything, just Stony Brook SBDC, Stony Brook Small Business Development Center. We have a lot of workshops. They're all free of charge. They're all listed right there on our website. If you go to the middle and you scroll down a little bit, you will see something that's called recovery programs. I wish they would just write workshops. It would be a whole lot easier if we would just title it that. But you can go there and you can see all the workshops that we have coming up. You can register right there. As I said, they're all free and they're all going to be on Zoom. Usually they last an hour, sometimes an hour and a half, 9 to 10 or 9 to 10:30. In particular, we're having a workshop series that's all about digital marketing, something that you should all be familiar with. It's a big learning curve if you really are unfamiliar. So I would start learning as much as you can right now. That series starts on November 9th and follows on the 16th, the 23rd, and the 30th. Like I said, it's going to be an hour and a half. You can ask your questions. It's going to be a really important workshop. So that starts in November. And if I'm correct, Leslie, I believe on the 20th of this month, we have one called Hacked. A gentleman named Ron Gonzalez, who runs a security firm, IT security, will be presenting a workshop all about how to protect your personal and work information. And I think that's going to be he did it before. We've had him before and he was very good. So I asked him to come back again so he can talk about internet security. Leslie, do you want to mention anything else? I don't want to go to another screen while I'm here. Is there anything? We do have some other workshops coming up. I'd love you to just all go look at the website. And
Ronnie, don't forget, I'm going to send them a follow-up email that's going to have a link to the website, and I'm going to explain all of that.
That's true. Thank you, Leslie.
You're welcome.
I should mention that I've been, I've had other people doing the workshops in the office for me. So I don't know, it's been a couple of months since I've done this. So bear with me, people. Leslie's going to be advancing the slides. So shall we begin, do you think?
Yes, we have 14 people.
Well, I don't like to punish the people who are here on time. So we'll give it until 9:35. We'll give it another little minute here, and then we'll begin. So what else? If you do want to, well, what else? Have I forgotten anything, Leslie? Please pipe up.
No, I don't think so. And it's 9:37. Your clock is slow.
Oh, really? I'm using my phone clock, so I don't know. I have 9:35. But anyway, okay, let's get started. So I should tell all of you first, this is just an overview. Anything, you can write it down. Of course, you can listen to the recording after, but I really suggest that you all make an appointment with us. Call the office. That's the number right there, 631-632-9837. And Leslie will, or April, we have other people that might answer the phone as well, but someone can make you an appointment with an advisor. They'll ask you a few questions about the business that you're planning, and give you to an advisor who would be appropriate for you and what your needs are. It's always free. It's not a one-time thing. You call up, you make an appointment, you can ask all these questions. We can go through all of this all over again, and keep meeting with you for as long as you need it. So why would you not get a business coach that's free? We all have experience in we all have different backgrounds. So even if it doesn't work out for you and you don't get the information you need, it's worth a meeting. So I recommend that you all do that after this workshop is over. And like Leslie said, she'll be following up and sending all of you an email, which please will have we'll have an evaluation form that we would love you to fill out. If you could do that and email it right back to us. And I think she sends also what we call our request for counseling. So if you don't want to call and you just fill out the form, Leslie will get in touch with you that way and make an appointment with you as well. So are there any questions at this point? As far as the questions are concerned, if it's something that's a general question that you think, everyone can hear, please, stop me and ask a question. I'm fine with that. Leslie will see that and she'll interrupt me. This is a very casual workshop. I'm happy for any questions, as long as they're general questions. As I said before, anything really specific to you and your planning, make an appointment. We'll talk to you. Okay, Les, why don't you move to the next slide? Here we go. Les, are you with me? Hello.
Ronnie, I just put it on number 2. Yes.
Oh, I see. Okay, yes, it was I'm telling you, I'm a little slow here. Okay, so I think I told you all what it is that we do. Here are some, specifics. We are funded by the SBA and also the state university system. We're all certified business advisors. I'm what they call an advanced certified business advisor. We provide startup information, which is what we're doing today. We can help you with your business and marketing plans. We don't write them for you. You know your business. So you're going to have to write information. You're going to have to put the information in. We can help you edit it, rearrange it, help explain to you how to do the financial part. And we'll get into that a little further along. We also have access to lenders. We have relationships with most of the major banks, as well as what we call alternative lenders, people who they still use banks, but they find money in places that the general, if you go to a bank, they may not be able to fund certain businesses and all of that. So you can talk to us about that as well. And we also, of course, we're at the university and we have many university relationships. We partner with other departments, the School of Business. There's a lot of things we can do to help you. So please, as I said before, and I'm going to repeat myself many times, make an appointment. Okay, Les, next slide. Okay. So, you know, this is a really important thing. Many people, oh, I don't know. Okay, now I see you, Leslie. Many people think they have a great idea. Their great idea, they think, for a business is enough. But there are so many other things that are involved. One thing that I always like to mention is if you've been used to working for someone and been employed for many years, and now you think you're going to take that hobby or something that you do at your job and you're going to turn it into your own business. You know, there's a lot of things about being self-employed that you don't think about when you're working for someone else. You're going to be everything now. It's not just your job and what you know, but it's all the ancillary things that you don't think about. Accounting, human resources. If you have people working for you, there's rules about that. There are so many things that come into play. Marketing, I would say marketing is probably, aside from the accounting and whether you have enough money to do this yourself, I think marketing and all of that is extremely important. Do you have the skills and experience? If you've been working in an industry, that's going to help tremendously. I often tell people if they want to start a business that they've never worked in, at a couple the other day, they want to start a coffee shop. They love coffee. She knows a lot, she thinks, about the coffee industry, but she's never run a business. She's never worked in a coffee place before or a restaurant. So I recommended, and she followed up on this and did get a job so that she can see about ordering and vendors and all the things that I mentioned before. So I think it's extremely important to make sure that you have actual experience in the business that you're planning to do. And then just determining your financial resources. We'll talk more about this in a couple of slides, but it's going to be very difficult for you to get funding for a business that's a startup. Banks do not generally lend to startup businesses. It's all about the risk. They want you to have certain things in place. Like I said before, they want you to have experience in the business. They want you to have good credit. They want you to have collateral so that they lend you some money, but if you default on the loan, they can use the collateral that you've put up. You also will have to put in some of your own money. You want to show that the bank, or you want to show the lender, that you're using some of your own funding and taking on some of the risk as well. They want to see that you have a business plan. We have an outline for a business plan we can send you so that you can start working on it and do the narrative portion, the financial portion. We're going to talk about that a little later on. And then, of course, have you made an appointment with a business advisor? Very important. I told you all about that. Okay, Les, next slide, please. So these are some of the things that you need to consider when you're first starting. What is going to be your business structure?
It's hot in here. Oh, Lord.
What?
Oh, my God.
Okay, so somebody turn your microphone off, please. Everybody turn your microphone off. Okay, so these are some of the things, as I started to say, that you're going to have to do to begin with, like selecting an appropriate business structure. For those of you who don't know what that means, the simplest form of business is called the sole proprietorship. I'll talk about that in another slide, I think the following slide. But then there are other more sophisticated, if you want to call them, business structures, such as corporations, various kinds of corporations, and LLCs. We'll talk about that after. You have to, once again, consider the startup capital. You're not going to get money from a bank. You'll have to obtain something called an EIN, open a bank account. These are, if you're going to be a sole proprietor, you're going to need something called an EIN, which stands for Employer Identification Number. There's a slide on that too in a few minutes. Certain businesses require that you have a license or permits, and you're going to have to find out about that too, which we can help you with. You should talk to somebody who's a business insurance broker. Even if you're working from home, it's important to have business insurance, because if you're working from home and you have an office in your home, your business insurance, your homeowner's insurance will not cover the business. So if something were to happen, God forbid, a flood or a fire, that area and all your equipment, any other equipment that you have in the house. I mean, some people run, businesses with equipment from their home, whether it's a screen printing machine or something like that. Had a business that was a food drying business, and they had big drying machines. What are they called, Leslie? I'm sure that's not the right term. But anyway, so there are a lot of businesses that do have equipment, whether you've turned your garage into a business, your basement. Your homeowner's insurance will not cover that. So you really should, if you have a problem, so you really should talk about business insurance with an agent. Determining the location of the business. If you're a startup business, you're probably best off, if you can start your business from home, that's a great thing to do to keep your costs low. And then you want to also make sure that you understand about the accounting and how you're going to manage all of that, whether you're going to use QuickBooks or simply just keeping a ledger, pen and pencil kind of thing, but you do have to keep good records. When it comes time to do your taxes, you don't want to be handing over a shoebox to the bookkeeper or the accountant. So you want to make sure that everything is organized, and we can kind of help you understand how to do that. We don't do it for you, but we can help you with the basic setup, okay, or how to do it or who to use. And then a very important part is creating your marketing materials. These days, people are not using real, well, they still are using flyers and folders and all that. If you go and visit a client, it's great to have something that they can hold in their hand. If you want to send people something, but mostly people are doing everything online. There's a whole lot of information about digital marketing that you should know about. Business cards are still very important. Networking events, when or if you do currently go to networking events, it's important to have an actual business card to share with people. So you will have to develop some sort of marketing presence on the internet, and also real time, like business cards or flyers or whatever, or brochures. Okay, next slide. So this is a little overview of the parts of a business plan. Okay, so when you are considering writing a business plan, with once again, I said I have an outline that I can share with all of you. The beginning of the business plan is what's called the executive summary. But what is a summary? It summarizes everything you've written. So you have to write the whole business plan, and then you can summarize it. An executive summary is usually a one-pager. If people want to know about your business and you just want to give them an overview, you'll be sending them the executive summary that you've created. So this is a page, a single page usually, that starts a business plan that can stand on its own. It talks about you, your business. It talks about all the parts of your business, but in a little short, preliminary, what are we calling it? Like, just an overview at the beginning, but you have to write the whole business plan first. So the next part was
gas and left.
the next part. Somebody, you have to mute yourself, everybody. If you've come in, please mute your microphone. Okay, and another part is going to be your business description and the history of your business. The history, if there is no history for your business, maybe you're going to talk about the history of the business itself, of the type of business. So, as I said, everyone's business is different. So everyone's business plan is going to look different. This is just a general explanation of what's generally in a business plan, but each business is going to be different. It's important to talk about your products and services. This is another section. You know, some businesses are strictly service businesses, some business have actual products. So this is going to be different depending on what your business is. The market plan, I think it's extremely important, as I've said before, your management and operations, what time are you going to be operating? What time are you going to be open? Who's running your business? Is it going to be, are you going to have a marketing person? Are you going to have different hours for different people to show up or to take care of the business? Everything has to be figured out and written down. And then, of course, there's a very important part that people don't like to think about, but the financial analysis and the projections. So two main things that you can think about when you're starting this business, two main lists, I would say, would be your startup expenses. Make a list of all of the expenses that you have to start the business. These are things that are not ongoing expenses. They're one-time expenses that you're doing to get started, whether it's to pay somebody to develop a website for you, the marketing plans, maybe you are in a location and you need signage. You're going to need, you know, if you're going to be renting somewhere, it's all of those expenses that are one-time expenses. A lawyer, an accountant, whatever is a one-time expense. And then you're going to have the projections. So what are the projections? Well, we talk about the first year or two that you're going to be in business. We want to talk about what your ongoing monthly expenses are going to be. And you know, it's all projected. We don't have anything specific because you haven't done this business before. So it's all going to be, that's why they're called projections. It's all going to be made up. It has to be realistic. I tell people to be conservative, but optimistic. And so that's what your projections are. So these are all the parts of the business plan that you need to consider. All righty. Next slide, Les. Okay, let's go through the business entities rather quickly. So the simplest, easiest form of business that you can go into is a sole proprietorship, which is registered at the county clerk's office. Whatever county you're in, the county clerk registers the sole proprietorships and also simple partnerships. So I don't know if they're having you go there in person anymore. I know for most of the time that we've had COVID, you do this by mail, believe it or not. You have to sign something, actually sign it and send it back. And then you pay $35 for this, and then you get a business certificate. You have to select a name and make sure that nobody else in the county is using that name. My next slide will tell you about this too, like where you actually go for this. The county clerk in Suffolk County is in Riverhead, but as I said, they're doing mostly everything online. You can visit their website and, you know, they'll clearly explain that to you. So you get your business certificate, and then what do? Well, you want to open a bank account. This is where the EIN comes in, which there's a slide for later. But let's just see what the advantages are. It is the easiest and least expensive way to start a business, and there are very few legal restrictions. Oh, as I started to say, you select a name and they will tell you if the name is being used by some other business. They prohibit, they say that you have, if you're going to be using an assumed name, which is a name other than your legal name, you need to register that, and you need to make sure that no one else is using that name. But they only allow words from the dictionary. You can't use nicknames, you can't use initials. It has to be real words that are found in the dictionary. Whereas if you're forming another form of business with the state, Department of State, such as a corporation or an LLC, you can basically call it most anything you want. Okay, so there are very few legal restrictions. What are the disadvantages? The disadvantages of a sole proprietorship are that you and the business are all the same. There's no separation. So if you're doing something where there's any liability, such as maybe taking care of people's children or opening a skating rink or a playground or anything like that, where people could sue you because they've been injured or they believe they've been injured, you have unlimited liability. When you form another form of business, as I've mentioned, a corporation or an LLC, that is separate from you. And if someone were to sue you, then they're only able to sue you for the assets in the business, in the LLC or the sole proprietorship. So you see the other disadvantages are that you're responsible for or business debts. You're going to be responsible whether you're doing the business or not doing the business, the debts are still there, okay? And it's also, it is difficult to obtain loans if you're a sole proprietorship. All right, so let's move on because we're running out of time here. Okay, partnerships are very tricky. One thing I absolutely insist, if you're going to do a partnership, I don't care if it's your sister, your best friend, your mother, someone that you've been, friends with since kindergarten, business partnerships bring up all kinds of interesting issues. I could go through and tell you a lot about them, but I don't think we have time right now. But I'm telling you, traditionally partnerships are extremely difficult. Yes, you organize them exactly the same way as you do a sole proprietorship. Each partner can operate as part of the business. So I like to tell the story about two people that I talked to many, many years ago, two gentlemen who had worked together for about 15 years. They started a business. They needed a person to manage their front desk. They hired a woman who was involved in Scientology. And one of the partners started to have a relationship with her and also got involved in Scientology. It was the other partner who came to me to see what he could do about it, because his partner and the woman were spending business funds on doing all kinds of Scientology business workshops. And I think the guy spent about $80,000 of the company's money. And the partner didn't know what he could do. Actually what he had to do is he had to dissolve the business. But it can be a real problem. So let's not belabor that point. Partnerships are difficult. Let's move on to where you go if you are wanting to be a sole proprietorship or a partnership. As I said, it's $35 and you go to the county clerk's office. Here is the county clerk's website, but you can easily just Google it or ask us and we'll tell you what it is. All right, so if you just Google Suffolk County government, this will come up, believe it or not. All right, corporations. There's various kinds of corporations. Most small businesses would be an S Corp, subchapter S. Thank you, Leslie, for switching that. Subchapter S, you have liability protection. Someone can only sue you for the assets in the corporation. You can issue stock. This is all very detailed. If we meet, we can explain this more. I don't think we need to talk about this, but you do. Let's go to the next slide, Leslie. It is more expensive to set up. As I said, it's done with the Department of State, as well as the limited liability. This is a very popular form of business right now. It's kind of like marries a sole proprietorship with a corporation, okay? It is the most expensive form of business to set up. That is because there's a requirement by New York State that you publish in 2 newspapers for 6 weeks, and you have to pay for that. Sometimes people come to me and they tell me that they've set up their own LLC, whether they've done it through LegalZoom or some other online, website, or they've done it directly through the Department of State, but they ignore the publishing requirement. If you ignore the publishing requirement, you're actually not an LLC. And if someone were to sue you and they find out that you've not completed the publishing part, publishing in 2 newspapers for 6 weeks, then you're liable. You're not. You've spent the money. You think you're a limited liability company, but you're actually not. So they can do what's called pierce the corporate veil. They can get through to you anyway, personally. All right. So it is the most expensive form of business to set up, but once it's set up, it's great. I've told people sometimes when you're starting your business, start out as a sole proprietorship, as long as you don't have major liabilities, because of the type of business that you're creating. And if later on you want to form a limited liability, you can always do that. These forms of business, corporations and limited liability businesses, last forever. You have to actually tell the Department of State that the business is closed, and it overrides the sole proprietorship, which you've done at the county clerk level. So you would just let the county clerk's office know that you're going to become a limited liability or a corporation, and it ends the sole proprietorship. All right, next, Les. So this is actually a fantastic website that all of you should look at. Like, if you're thinking about doing this, you should do this ASAP. It's called Business. If you put in New York Business Express and you don't put in the right exactly this web address, you will get it. Okay, so it's a really good overview of everything we've spoken about, where to do this, that, and the other thing. You should all take advantage of this. It's New York State's website, Business Express. Just Google it and it'll come up. If you want to find out more about registering, you have to do it through the Department of State, and the Department of State website is right there. You can also just put in NYS DOS, which stands for New York State Department of State. If you don't remember this exact website, as we said, it's being recorded, and I'm happy to give you the information. I don't know, maybe Leslie even includes that in her follow-up email to you. All right, everyone, let's move on, Les. Okay, this is the EIN that I spoke to you about. If you're going to be going through the Department of State, you will get the information about obtaining an EIN number. It is a federal tax ID number, just like your Social Security number, but it separates your Social Security number from your business. So you get an EIN number, and this is the number that you use to open a bank account. It identifies the business. So if you have vendors, you're getting product, this is the number that they're going to want to know. So you do need to get this. If you're a sole proprietor, you'll have to obtain, I think they give you at the county clerk's office information about getting the EIN. They might give you the information, but it's a simple form. It doesn't cost anything. It comes from the IRS, and that's it. You don't pay for it. It's free. Okay. Let's move on to the next slide. Okay. Like I say here, one of the most important calls you can make is going to be to your accountant, also a business attorney. Both of those professionals usually will meet with you for the first time for free, a free consultation. Why? Think of it as this: you're hiring someone to work for you in your business. They're freelance, they get paid for the work that they do, but you have to have a relationship with both of these professionals. So you really should, in the beginning of your business, meet with an accountant or an attorney. They'll help you in the beginning, set up, tell you which is the best structure for your business, whether it should be a sole proprietorship or whether you should be an LLC or an S Corp. They can advise you on that as well. And they'll tell you which are the best ways for you to keep your records, what they want to see, how often they want to see it. When you're in business for yourself, you have to pay taxes for being in your own business, and you usually pay those taxes quarterly. And how do you do that when you're in business for the first year? They estimate the taxes. And I think the first year in business, they usually give you a pass for not doing it quarterly. But after that, you really do have to pay your self-employment taxes quarterly. and they'll tell you all about that too. So like it says here, the structure of your business will determine what kind of taxes you have to pay. Okay, and there is a very good resource. The IRS used to send actual publications written on paper, and we had them in the office, but now all of these publications are available online. So I suggest that you all go to the IRS website, look at their publications. The one that's called Small Business Resource Guide, which is everything is numbered, publication 3207, will give you a lot of the information that we're discussing here. There's going to be a lot of overlap in information, but you can never learn these things, from too many different sources. It's fine. It's reiterated many places. All right, let's move on. So, I don't know why that didn't move. Okay, so there's also, if you're going to be selling products or certain services, you're going to have to pay sales tax. Sales tax also comes from New York State, but it's the New York State Department of Taxation and Finance. When you apply, I would not apply for your sales tax ID number until you're certain that you need it, because once you get it, you're going to have to be reporting. It's quarterly. You're going to have to be reporting how much sales tax you've collected. Okay. And it's a law. If you're selling product that is required to collect sales tax for, you're going to have to do it, and you're going to have to let them know quarterly how much. Even if you collect no sales tax, even if you've had no sales, you still have to send the form in. If you don't, I think it's still a $50 penalty for sending it in late. So just make sure, if you're going to be collecting sales tax, talk to one of us about it, and we'll, help you understand a little more about it. If you're going to be purchasing products from a vendor and one person pays the sales tax, the end user pays the sales tax. So if you're going to be buying products from a company and you don't want to pay them sales tax, they can issue you something, or the New York State Department of Taxation and Finance can issue something called a resale certificate. This is what the company that you're purchasing your products from keeps on file. So when they have to pay taxes, they have collected all these resale certificates explaining why they haven't charged certain businesses sales tax. It's because you, as the business owner, are going to be charging sales tax to the person at the end, the customer that you have. Sales tax is only paid once by the end user. Okay, so if you want to know more about it, again, New York State provides a guide for you. We can certainly help you with that, but they have, guides that will help you. So, okay. Do we have any questions, Leslie? Anyone asking anything?
Actually, no.
Okay.
I'm addressing a lot of these things in chat. Like, people are asking to
Okay.
get certain stuff from us, and I'm addressing it in the chat.
Okay, well, that's great. And that's fine. I can't see those, but I'm happy to answer questions. Okay, so licenses and permits. There are certain businesses that require licenses or permits, and a few of them are listed here. If you're going to be doing home improvement, you have to make sure that you have your home improvement license. The same thing with certain food businesses. There's a lot of things to know. I think that, you can get the information from Department of Consumer Affairs in Suffolk County. We have the website right there. Yes, we do. And for food businesses, it's going to be the Department of Health, Suffolk County Department of Health. And you can learn all about that by going to any of their websites. Food businesses are very specific. They're overseen by either the Department of Health or New York State, what we call ags and markets, New York State agriculture and markets. And that's mostly food products that are packaged, not, restaurants, not catering. These are products like salsa or honey or other things like that that you can sell in retail stores. So that's overseen by New York State Ags and Markets, and food prep places, coffee shops, sandwich shops, restaurants, catering. That's New York State Department of Health. Okay. Let's see, is that good? Let's move on. Okay, please, as I said earlier in this talk, please call your insurance agent, ask them if they could talk to you about business insurance, tell them what you're planning to do, to ask them if they think you need specific insurance. They're the ones that know about all of this, and you should talk to someone. You know, the more information you have, the better it's going to be. You're not going to have any surprises. So I definitely think this is something you should think about. You should talk to an insurance agent. Remember that they sell insurance. I always tell this to people. They're going to say, oh, you need to have this insurance. You need to have key man insurance. You need to have a lot of things that you could think about and learn about. But this is what their business is selling insurance. So once again, I think you should learn about it. I think you should talk to someone. And if you want to ask us about it, we can kind of help you with that too. But we don't sell insurance, and we can't recommend what insurance you need. Ultimately, it's going to be your decision. Well, not in all cases. In some cases, you have to have it. Like, for example, if you're in the home improvement, anything that has a license, you're going to have insurance. They insist. Okay, next slide. Okay, this is important. Financing your business. People ask us, the first thing they want to know is, what about all those grants that are offered by the federal government to start a business? I've heard that there are grants available. I'm here to tell you that there's no free money. There's no free money from the state. There's no free money from the federal government for you to start your business. You know, it's something that you really, there's a misconception about all these grants, and we've been asked about that. I've been doing this for a long time, and people are always interested in obtaining, you know, getting access to the grants that are available, and there aren't any. In terms of borrowing money from a bank, that's another problem. Startup businesses very, very rarely are funded. Even if you're opening up a second location of a business that you're already operating successfully, the bank is reticent to do that as well, because they don't know whether the second location will be as successful as the first location. So you want to make sure that you have some of your own money to access, because that's what you're going to have to use to start your business. The bank requirements that I've listed here are pretty much true across the board. Banks want you to be in business for 2 years. Very often people come to me and they go, yeah, I've been in business for 2 years, but my business is mostly cash. Well, if you have a cash business, that's the downside of having a cash business. When you go to borrow money, you can't prove how much money the business is making. You can tell them until you're blue in the face, well, you know, I have on the books and I have off the books. They do not want to know about your off the books. Okay, number one, you're supposed to have paid taxes on all this money. So it's not important. It's not something that they're interested in knowing about. And if you go to sell the business, the same thing holds true. The business will only be valued by what's on paper and what you've paid taxes on. Okay, bank wants to know that you've been in business for 2 years, and also that you have experience in the business. As I said before, this is really, really important. It's more important than you can even imagine. They want to know that you know what you're doing from day one. So being in business for 2 years, obviously, if you've been in business for 2 years, you have experience. But the more experience you have, the better off you'll be. They want to know that you have excellent credit, personal credit. Why? They want to know that you're someone who considers paying your bills important. and that you do it. So excellent credit is extremely important. I would say excellent credit is considered 750 or above. So if your credit is questionable or you don't know what your credit report looks like, get it. Do that right away, and you can start working on repairing your credit. Most credit reports, I would say, there is something on there that you can do to improve your credit, even if it's just by a couple of points. There's a lot of mistakes on credit reports, so you should obtain your credit report and make sure that everything's accurate and work to repair your credit. It's very important. You will also have to make a contribution of your own. A lender wants to see that you're taking on some of the risk too. So they're not going to lend you all the money. They want you usually to put in about 25 to 30%. In the first year, if you can prove that you've bought equipment with your own money and spent money on other things that you've used your own money for, this is an important thing. The remainder of the money that the bank is lending you will have to be collateralized, usually with your own home. If you don't own your own home, it will not prevent you from getting a loan, but it helps if you do have collateral. So that's really important. And the SBA is another source for very good information. Their website is terrific. So I would check out the SBA website and look for their business guide. Let's move on. Okay. Marketing. There's so much that you can do starting today. Even if your business doesn't get started for the next couple of years, you could probably start today, and for the next couple of years, learn about marketing. Go on, you can learn online. There are many classes. We have them, as I said, we have our 4-part series that's coming up starting in November. There's so many things to learn about marketing. When I first started presenting workshops 20-something years ago, I did one workshop on websites and marketing on the internet. One. Now I could probably do 12 different workshops about all different kinds of marketing that you can do, both, mostly digital marketing. That's where it's at these days. There's just a plethora of things that you don't know about. For example, how many of you know about SEO? If you don't know about SEO, which stands for search engine optimization, this is something that you can start learning about today. It's how people are driven, how traffic is driven to your website. It's very sophisticated. There's a lot to learn, and you should start right away. Let's see some of the things that we mentioned here that you should think about. Who are your customers? Today, that's a very important thing to know. It's not like years ago where you take out an ad in Newsday or in a newspaper and hope that some of the people that read the newspaper are your customers. These days, you can get so specific with reaching your customers. It would be like, you throw your fishing line into the sound, hoping to get a fish. That's how it used to be. Now you can tell your fishing line which fish you want exactly, and you can fish for that exact fish. And that's basically how marketing is today. There's something called geofencing, which is about locations, finding your customers within a certain location. There are so many things. I mean, I just could go on and on about the importance of marketing. You need to know who your customers are and why they would buy your product. It helps with the way you're going to be marketing to them. What else about marketing? There are it's just endless. It's absolutely endless. So I recommend that you come to our marketing series. Okay. Within marketing, There's not only digital marketing, but there's actual marketing. As I said to you before, you do need to have a business card. You need to create a brand for your business, a branding overview, more or less. You want to use the same lettering, the same colors, the same logo on everything you do. This creates a brand for your business. You know, when people see your logo, they recognize it. That's very important. Actual physical marketing materials are important too. Besides your business card, you can have t-shirts printed up. You can wear them to your kids' soccer games. Hopefully people will say, hey, where is that business? Or put it on your car. We have those magnetic signs that are available. Vistaprint is a great resource for you. There's many, many online businesses that you can obtain these products from. But I really do like those magnetic signs because, you know, I'm always seeing people in parking lots with these signs, and I'll quickly jot down a plumber. You know, I need a plumber, and I see somebody with their sign or their truck has been detailed that way. So I think it's really important to have the proper marketing materials, and they should all look more or less the same to keep your marketing, you know, all the same, your branding all the same. Okay. I want to leave a few minutes for questions. So, so that's really the end of the presentation. I hope I wasn't all over the place. It's been a while since I've done this. You can access the PowerPoint if you like by getting in touch with us. You can make an appointment. There's the phone number. You can send me an email. That's my email address. And I'm open to any questions that anyone has. Anything you want to know that I haven't covered, please feel free to ask me right now. And remember that Leslie is going to be sending up a follow-up email to all of you. Are there any questions? How many people do we still have? Did I lose? Did we lose?
Okay, yes, you've still got, see, 21 minus 3, 18 people.
Okay, so
Yes.
I do see that someone's asking a question.
Ah, Pat Hussein, yes.
Yes,
I
go
will
ahead. Unmute them.
yeah.
Hi, I just wanted to know, if when it comes to, I know you said ask an attorney, I mean, get an accountant, but the tax issues with being LLC versus sole proprietor or S corp, isn't there a difference as far as taxes are concerned? Like, I've heard when you are an S corp, if you do make a profit, that profit will now go onto your personal tax, but you also have to still pay a business tax. So it's kind of like a double tax, correct?
Well, yes, if you're a corporation, but S corp does not have that. An S corp is for smaller businesses. I don't know what other, you know, what the difference, I do know what the differences are, but we can't go into it right here. But an S corp, if you elect to become an S corp, which is subchapter S to a corporation, then you do not pay double taxation.
Okay.
Okay.
But
So
corporation.
A corporation, which you would not be. I mean, corporations are much larger. If you have 75 employees, I think it is, or fewer, I'm not sure, maybe it's 100, but that's not you anyway. So you can become an S corp. Certain large corporations cannot elect to be subchapter S corps. They have to be regular corps. So, and there's other variations of corporations too, and LLCs as well. It's not just S corp, corporation, LLC. That's your choice. That's why it's important to know which form of business is the best for you. And as I said before, honestly, Pat, if you can start your business as a sole proprietorship for a few months even, you don't have to do it immediately, unless certain businesses do, but you may not have to. So I, like I said, recommend, talk to me. Call up, make an appointment. Let's speak specifically about you and your business. That'd be great.
Thank you so much.
Right? You're welcome. We had another question. I think, Mike, what did I see? Someone raised their hand. Les, anybody?
Nope, I don't see any.
Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna stop screen sharing because you're done with the PowerPoint, right?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Oh, good. Now I have more
Yeah.
screen space to look at
Yeah.
chats.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, anyone have any other questions? As I said, Leslie's going to be sending out an email with a couple of forms in there. One is going to be, please fill it out, an evaluation that we'd love you to send back. And she'll also send the form that's called a request for counseling. If you want to make an appointment, you
Mhm.
might as well fill that out, email it back to Leslie. She will get in touch with you, correct, Leslie?
Yes, I'm going, I had sent in the chat that when I send the follow-up, all they have to do is reply to that. I'll have their email. I'm going to get their contact info from Michelle, just in case the email bounces, and
Okay.
take it from there.
Okay. We'd love to see you all in the, not in the office because it'll be on Zoom. It'll be on, on the phone.
By
But-
phone or by Zoom.
By phone, yes, basically. So why not make an appointment? I think you all should. You must have specific questions. I'm sure I didn't cover everything you wanted to know, or maybe I did. So please call us and make an appointment. We'd be happy to speak with each of you. So is there anything else right now? If there's nothing, we're ending a few minutes earlier, but I think that's fine. If you have no other questions, I want to thank Michelle for giving us this opportunity to speak to you. Thank you, Michelle. The DOL is another wonderful resource for you. They have great workshops there as well. There's libraries have workshops for you. We do other SBDCs as well. Good, I'm glad. You're welcome, Ralph. Thank you. We're here for you. We do want to help. So please let us know what you want to know. And we'll hopefully answer all your questions. But if there's nothing else today, then I guess, Leslie, we can end today's session.
We'll see what Michelle or Haley have to say.
Just want to thank everyone for being here this morning. And like Ronnie and Leslie said, you will receive information after this event. And please get in touch with them with any questions, any concerns, anything you have. They're very knowledgeable.
Thank
Thank you.
you, everyone else.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a nice day.
Thank you, you too.